So, hello and welcome to the Cynic's Guide to Hippie Shit. So, I'm here today with Sarah Doherty, and we are going to be talking about potentially lots of things. There's going to be some reining in of all of the many, many things that we might be talking about today. But the main thing we're going to be talking about today is human design. So, first question, what the hell is human design?
What the hell is it? Hello, Rachel. Yeah, well, it's a system designed by a man called Ra, who's dead now. But a bit like various of these sages and gurus and people who, believe or have had an experience where they've been somewhere remote. It's been nothing to do with taking anything mind altering, but they've had an awakening. They've had an experience where they've received, a flow of communication, and I mean the information is so detailed. It couldn't just sort of it couldn't be not from a sort of divine source. Do you know what I mean? And human design itself is very, very deep. So for all those people who are investigators and love getting into the nitty gritty and the layers, because everything is layers. It's not black and white. It's not, And I think human design it's a system. It's a blueprint. It's a mix of the Tao's, the I Ching, and astrology. And
It's
they've
a little bit like numerology as well, isn't it? Because
Yes, the
you
significant
asked me,
numbers are very important. Yes.
so we had a little Facebook exchange about a week ago,
Mhm.
and you asked me, various questions around where and when and like exact time of when I was born. And then I was like, right, I need to ask my mum. I can never quite remember. And my mother was like, it was a long time ago. I'm like, yeah, no. And we figured it all out. And then you started just bombarding me with, oh, this means you're this kind of person. I'm like, I really hope my mum's right about what time I was born, because that sounds fabulous. So,
Please, I'll have some of that.
so it's something about the the day you're born, the time you're born.
Yes, all of that is relevant and where the planets were situated. I mean, we're hearing a lot now, aren't we, of the significance by scientists and astronomers and all the rest of the positioning of the planets, the influence of the moon, the influence of the sun. They're the two biggest, the huge planets. They're a huge impact and energetic impact. So, yes, there are four types within human design. The mainstay type, the majority of people are generators. They make up 70% of the population. So generators are a bit like the drone bees. They are the worker bees. They get the job done. They have natural access to energy in their bodies, and they are able to create, co-create. That's what they're designed to do. But they're not designed in the way that society says that we all should be, which is that we should all be these Richard Branson, Alan Sugar manifestors all the time. And, all going after big money and all going over after big success, because money is just energy as well. It's all about where you put your energy and what you focus in on and what you call in. It's all frequency, isn't it? It's all energy. So the majority of us are not supposed to do that. We are meant to respond. And so, and then you've got the projectors. They make up about 17% of the population. Now, they are the opposite in many, many ways. They don't have access to normal energy. I don't want to liken it to sort of like the projectors have got a Ford Fiesta engine and the generators have got a Porsche engine. No,
Oh, no, that doesn't sound good.
no, no. The generators are a Ford. They're a Ford Focus engine. That's the the
Reliable.
the projectors are Beetle energy. The beat, not the creature, the car, and the manifestors. our Porsche engine energy, if you like. It doesn't make anyone any better than anybody else. It's not about being better. It's just about who's got the resources, who's got access to energy, and I've got lots of projector friends. My son's a projector. Thank God I know he's a projector, and I'm not one of those parents who's saying, why aren't you out on your bike? Why am I having to drag you in? Why aren't you out running with your mates constantly, active? Because that's what I was like as a child. I had no lack of energy. If I wanted to swim, I never took a nap. Then I could go and do gymnastics. Then I could do a ballet class. Then I could do. He's not like that. Projectors are not like that. If you put a projector in a boxing class and they're sparring with their partner and the partner stops, the projector's going to stop. It's running off the energy of the generators. It's all energy. It's all we're not even sort of aware of it. And then there's manifestors, like I said, and they're only about 7-8% of the population, not or 10, very low. And they are the true manifestors on the planet. Their energy is very repelling. It's very repelling because they're impatient people, So again, if you've got a manifestor child, they're off down to York when you give them a ring at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and say, where are you? Did you end up in the metro centre with your friends? No, actually, we're on our way to York. York was never discussed. They must inform, but they don't naturally feel like they need to inform. They don't feel scared of much. So all these, like I said, there's these four main types. And the last type is a reflector, and they are only 1% of the population. Okay. An example of a reflector is Michael Jackson.
Oh.
So I don't know what your feelings are on Michael. I mean, I don't want to get into a conversation about Michael Jackson, but
that's a whole other episode.
It is, love. It is. We'd be I need the lights on. The place would be getting dark if we went there. Yeah, so reflectors their authority is the moon cycles, actually, and they have to live by the moon cycles very much, and they do. Teal swan is another one. So they reflect back. They're great. Look at what, I don't know if you listen much to Teal Swan. I find her quite a fascinating personality because all their motors, when you get your chart done on Jovian Archive, for people who are interested in exploring and seeing, I wonder if there's anything that could teach me in this. I'm not your best person, Rachel, to explain the science behind it or because why? Well, I'll tell you why, because I'm not really interested in that side of things. And I'm not that type of person that needs proof from reading an explanation. I need to experience it.
Okay, so that's a question that I was going to be asking at some point. So I'll ask it now because I am the cynic. I'm the one who doesn't really believe in all of this shit because it's astrology, bit weird,
Yeah. I get it.
When and where you're born makes a difference on how you live your life, What's your evidence? Why should I believe any of this?
Well, my evidence is only, I guess, my experience of my own experiment with human design since I was 27 and I'm now 53. And I as time has gone on and I've grown and I've turned 30 and I've turned 40 and I've turned 50, more and more I've seen how that chart done on a course that I was just excited about back in 1997 when, up here in particular, I'm not from here. I was born in Bristol and I came here when I was 15. And what I did notice very quickly, well, by the time I was hit my 20s, I was excuse me, very interested in self-development, and everything was in London. Then finally, a friend's mother-in-law told her, and then she told me about this man called Richard Rudd, who got to meet Ra and was, one of his first students. And he kind of brought Ra's teachings into the world, if you like. Ra made lots of recordings, and the the true diehard human design fans, have got access to a whole multitude of library of him speaking on everything to do with it. I just needed to see, do I identify? Do I resonate? And I started experimenting with it. So my authority is emotional. He talks about 51% of the population have an emotional authority. They are driven by their emotions. They have an emotional wave going on, usually in their subconscious. And every person's emotional wave is different. Some people need to, take quite some time before they make a decision about something. They really need to feel into it, because emotional people, we get highs and we get lows. We get highs and we get lows. My wave isn't like that, kind of like a ride on a fun fair. But I've come to really embrace and learn a lot from melancholy, and that's very intrinsic for people with an emotional authority. And I mean, I just think in the the kind of climate that we're living in at the moment, any kind of reflection or any kind of insight, tools for everybody's individual process in this, because everybody's having a very different experience right now on the planet. We're living in extraordinary times, and people are either feeling grateful about that or very worried about that, very fearful. And so I feel that human design it's an excellent tool for just sort of really realigning for those who are kind of like, God, what's going on, or why am I here, or what, people who do ask themselves, what's my purpose? There's got to be more than just sort of having a successful career, maybe writing a book, 30 interesting summers and then you're gone. I think that human design allows you to see everybody's unique and specific gifts to them, and why they're here, and just a bigger kind of framework context, and like I say, so for example, I'll give you one of the examples of something. It's a bit like some people who go into therapy. Do you know what I mean? It's like some things don't never ever change. You can look back on 5 years of therapy and think, well, what really did change? What did I get for my money there? What habits did I take to her 5 years ago that are not an issue today? Or what addictions have I overcome with this process? Or have we just rearranged the furniture? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we just rearranged our furniture, in my mind, in your mind, because I've got my hat on, oh, I'm a counselor. I've done all this training, I know all this information. It's very valid, and what's changed?
So you talk about the 4 different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that often pops into my head is, so what you're telling me then is everyone who was born in the hospital on the same day as I was is going to have the same kind of personality as me.
They're going to have a similar chart to you. I have met a female friend. She's a friend of mine now. We haven't actually met. We met online. And she was born on the 2nd of December. And I was born on the 3rd, the same year. And we are just uncannily similar. Uncannily similar. And then I've also met this new friend of mine in America. And he has the same profile as me, but he's younger. But so he wasn't born in the same year, but he's a 6'3". He's the same profile as me. There's 12 profiles. And just to sort of explain, there's 12 profiles. And if you look at the lines, so there's 6 lines. And so there's combinations of those in the profiles, only 12.
Like the star signs. So there's 12 types. So
Yeah.
there's 12 types of people.
Yes.
So there's 4 types of people, but there's also 2 types of people, and there's also 12 types of people.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, isn't there? A lot of good of to take in.
Well, I suppose it's the understanding of, I love to understand myself better. I love to understand how people tick. I'm fascinated by how people tick and why they think this, or they do like this, or they have these practices. And some people are very ritualistic It's just natural to them. Other people not so. And so then they're comparing themselves to other people and going, why can't I meditate like her? And why can't I, I'm not massive on the rituals. I'm not, I could be into, you know, so I was really into the Lakota ways all of last year and summer 2022, but all of 2024, I've moved away from that. I wanted to learn in a different way, wanted to be in a different energy, in a different mindset with different rituals. I'm
Different
very
experiences. You talked
yes,
about experience when we spoke
yes,
today.
yes. And for me, I have finally embraced. I used to feel bad. I used to think, why don't I stick with any of these groups?
Oh, yes.
Why don't I stick with groups? And it's because I like visiting them, but I don't need them. And I don't, once it gets past sort of 14 people, even 10 people, to be honest, 8 is perfect. But more than that, in a group, in a Zoom, even in a circle, in a group, all of it, quite quickly, I start shrinking because I can't cope with all the different types of energy and everybody. Yeah, that's what we all are. We're just this body, this meat suit, holding all these atoms, and it's all about energy. And a lot of it is subconscious, so we don't even know or fully realize the impact we make on people and people make on us. But what I think that's what it's given me the most, human design, is a really better, deeper understanding of who I am and where I thrive and how I thrive and who I'm meant to be.